Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I hope everybody's doing amazing. I have the absolute pleasure to welcome my friend Richard Okwagu. For those of you who don't know, Okwagu means end of discussion, period. Okay, and what we're going to talk about today is resume, ATS resume, and the art and the science behind it. A lot of people struggle to attract career opportunities and they don't realize that they need to apply with an ATS resume template, with an ATS resume, that document that is going to open the doors for you to be invited to interviews. So before I get carried away, I want to say, Richard, how are you? Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, Brian. Thank you, everyone that's listening. I'm so happy to be here. So happy. Thank you. I'm doing great.
Likewise. For those of you who didn't have a chance to read the post that I just wrote, I want to let you know that Richard is one of the only few people that I've ever seen who got a resume to a 100% match rate against a job description. So I just want to let you know that this is an expert. This is a person that I truly believe in professionally and also personally, which means so much to me. So Richard, I want to ask you, how difficult was it? Was it tough to get it to a 100% match, or it's just basically spending a little bit of time tweaking your resume and just going through the motions to make it happen? How much effort did it take?
All right, thank you. Actually, I did a lot of testing. When I first of all got the resume, I followed the skills that you've placed down, that you taught us. So I kept on tweaking it. And what I did most was to use the skill you taught us to pick out the keywords. And when I got the keywords, I was applying them. Anywhere I know I needed to add more keywords, I was doing it until I got to that match rate. So that's what I did.
Love it. So one of the things that Richard is mentioning is keywords. And keywords are so important because a resume is something similar to a website. For those of you who have a little bit of experience with websites, you know that probably there are a lot of keywords. Right now, we're leveraging a lot of artificial intelligence, and Google, Bing, Yahoo, they can tell whether your website has the real content that answers that search from someone. Now, ATS systems are not that intelligent yet, right? So you can actually game the ATS software by adding extra keywords throughout your resume to be able to pass the filters, right? So what is the ATS, first of all? The ATS it stands for, first of all, Applicant Tracking System, right? And this is a software that most organizations are using right now to be able to filter candidates in and out. And why do they do that? Because there's a flood of candidates, and for every job opportunity, for every job description, there's hundreds, if not thousands of applicants. Right? So no human being can actually go through all these resumes and try to figure out who is the best candidate. So they have to leverage software. They have to automate this to be able to discern who is going to be the right candidate versus who's not. So one of the things that you have to do first in order to land on somebody else's desk is to pass this filter, right? So Richard, if you want to share a little bit about what it entails to be able to increase your match rate, what do you do? A little bit. Not too much.
All right. So what I did first was to see the type of whether it's a CV or a resume that they're using. For most people here in Africa and some parts of Asia, they use mainly CVs. And in that CV, they usually include some ATS don'ts, like lines. Some put tables, some put pictures. Some don't have consistency when they are writing their experiences in terms of punctuation marks, positivity of the statements they are making. Some also are not using the proper headings that we use for an ATS compliant resume. And some of these things are the reasons why you are not getting interviews. And it's the main reason you're not passing through the ATS. So if you don't pass through the ATS, you won't get interviews. And yeah. And also some of them, when they are writing their timelines, they are not writing it properly. Some will do it haphazardly. Some people think that their highest education is the way you write your qualifications in the resume. So all these were put into considerations for me to get that match rate of 100%.
Absolutely. Thank you for explaining that. So here's the thing for everybody. the first thing that you need to know is that there is an art and a science to a resume, right? There are two parts. There's the art, which is the way that you write your resume and whether it is appealing once it is looked at by someone, right? The way that you write every single one of your past experiences and whether it matches whatever it is that they're looking for. And at the same time, there is a science, right? You have to pass this ATS filter, which leaves so many people in the dust. This ATS, if you don't pass it, no one is going to look at your resume. So you are basically just wasting your time. So if you are unaware of what your match rate is on your resume against the job description, that's your first mistake. If you're applying blindly, hoping, praying, and guessing, you're just not going to get anywhere. You're going to be wasting your time, okay? So the first thing that you need to do is understand that there is a match rate from your resume to that job description. If you've never calculated it, then we can help you calculate it and understand what it is to understand whether you have to make any changes. Now, here's the thing. For those of you who don't have it, and for those of you who are like, you know what, I'm applying and applying and applying and I'm not getting any interviews. Math doesn't lie, okay? Math it tells you what it is. If you've applied to 500 career opportunities and you're not getting any interviews or you got 2 interviews, I mean, it's telling you that there is something wrong. Either you're applying to the wrong career opportunities, right? Maybe you're applying for a seniority that is too high. Maybe you're applying in the wrong industry, in the wrong geographic location. But for one reason or another, you're just not getting through. Or it can be that your resume is not ATS compliant. Maybe it's actually breaking. So the elements that Richard was sharing just a moment ago, tables, links, images, there are many of these different elements that can actually break your document. This ATS software is not prepared to handle, to parse, to understand everything that you put on your resume. And sometimes when you put some of these different elements, it can break anything that comes before or after. So typically, I've seen a lot of people, a lot of candidates, they put a line right under their name and last name, phone, email address, and address. And they put a line. There's a very high chance that after this line, this ATS cannot even understand or cannot even see whatever came afterwards, right? So if you're not getting any interviews, there is a chance that you're including some of these elements that are breaking your document, okay? Now, Richard, with regards to the format, we have Word documents, we have PDFs. What would you advise people to do? Apply in PDF, apply in Word, when to do one versus the other?
Yeah, I will advise that they use the PDF format for the following reasons. For the PDF format, it's accepted by almost all operating systems. And if it happens that the recruiting manager is not on his system, this PDF format will come out as it's supposed to be, because your resume must be tidy, must look neat. But if it comes out in a Word document, it is most likely that the device he's using to view your resume might not be so compliant with that Word system. So it models it up. It's not nice that your name appears on one line, or maybe only one of your name appears on one line, then the other name appears on the second line. This is very common when you use Word formats to send these documents. However, if the recruiting agency says you should send it in Word format, you can also do that. But if they didn't tell you what format to send it, you can always send using the PDF.
There's a reason why I trust Richard and why I brought him here, because he knows what he's talking about. So let me explain in other words as well. What he said is spot on. But here's the thing. Word documents, they will be rendered, they will be presented on the screen wherever they are being looked at differently, depending on the operating system that you have, whether it's Windows or Mac OS or Linux or Chrome or whatever it is, right? Chromebook, right? So you need to really understand that depending on the device, a Word document is going to be rendered differently. Also, depending on the size of the device, it's not going to render the same way if you open it on an iMac big, on a laptop, on a phone, on a tablet, right? So you want your document to render the same way everywhere. And why is this important? Because a lot of people are on the go. More than ever now, we're on our mobile devices. And when people are on their mobile devices, if they're looking at your resume for the first time, you want to cause a really good impression. If your resume on a mobile device already looks all jumbled up and all these different elements are all on top of each other, then you're not going to cause the best impression. And you can bet that this person is not going to back to look at your resume later. You already missed the opportunity to cause the best first impression. It's called first impressions for a reason, right? So you can count that this person is not going to go and look at your resume again. The other thing that you need to remember is that you only have 6 seconds only to captivate that hiring manager or that HR professional to look at your resume. If in those first 6 seconds you didn't, then they're just going to move on to the next resume, okay? So remember what Richard said, which is spot on. Unless they specify to send it in Word format, send it in PDF, okay? And make sure that you just follow very standard guidelines, that whenever you open this document, that let me remove Richard for a moment because I think that he's having some difficulties there. Whenever you are creating this document, that you're just following very regular standards, okay? That you're not changing anything with regards to the margins, that you're not adding headers, you're not adding footers. I want to make sure that you just leave it by default, okay? Having headers and having footers on your resume, it can also break the ATS. So you need to get really familiar. Let me take a quick look and see if there's anybody here who has any questions. Welcome, Richard, back. Let me see everybody here. Richard, by the way, he's in Nigeria. And one of the things that I want to share with all of you is that I wholeheartedly believe in empowering everybody, regardless of where people live. My dear friends from Nigeria, I love them, except during the World Cup. World Cup, we're not friends, but aside from the World Cup, we are friends. But I just believe that everybody deserves a chance to live well. I've been blessed to live in this amazing country, in Canada, and I believe that everybody, regardless of whether you're looking to immigrate to Canada or not, you deserve to live well. And this is the reason why I've empowered people like Richard, who is an amazing human being, first of all, and also a tremendous professional, to help me pay it forward, continue to empower other people. So this is the reason why I've teamed up with about 20 or 30 professionals worldwide so that everybody has the same knowledge that I do with regards to resume, interviews, and how to negotiate a better compensation. Whether you're employed or unemployed, you need to live well. If you cannot live well, then there's no chance that you can actually feel fulfilled, that you can pay the bills, that you can live your dreams, that you can provide a better present and future to your family. So I truly believe in my heart that everybody deserves a chance to live well. And I appreciate that Richard is helping me in this mission to empower everybody and help everybody get back on their feet. So whether you're employed or unemployed, I highly recommend that you follow Richard, connect with him. He accepts every single connection request. And reach out to him on WhatsApp if you want as well. I put his WhatsApp number here as well. He's helping me because I receive a lot of requests, but Richard can definitely help you. I want to see, there are a couple of messages here that I saw here. I want to highlight them for a moment. Chris F. Young, please, who is here to help me get a job in Canada? Here's the thing. This is not rocket science either, how to immigrate to Canada. There are really 4, but let's count the 5th one as well, which is important so that everybody is aware of this. You need to know that in order to immigrate to Canada, you need a few different variables. They need to be in place. First of all, your language, right? Do you speak one of the 2 official languages, either English or French? Is your language good enough for you to be able to communicate, to comprehend, right? To get by. If it is good enough, you're good. What about your education? If you have more than secondary, more than high school, you're good. You're on your way. If you only have high school, then you would have a really hard time being able to immigrate to Canada. Third, what about your work experience? If you have some work experience, amazing. If you don't have work experience, then you would have to do a lot more to be able to get work experience, whether it is in your home country or in Canada, right? If you want to come to Canada to get some work experience to then be able to be eligible for a permanent residency, then sure, but you need to get that work experience. Fourth, what about your funds? Can you actually immigrate to Canada? A lot of people reach out to me and they tell me, Brian, I want to come to Canada. And they don't even have $10 in their in their bank account. They don't have $10 in their bank account. How are you planning to come from your home to the airport if you don't have $10 in your bank account, right? A lot of people, unfortunately, they are desperate. They want to live better, and they don't stop to think about the obstacles that they have to overcome. So you need to resolve your financial problems. Now, I truly believe that there are amazing people around the world with great values and with great potential, and that's the reason why I teach people how to immigrate to Canada safely and how to generate those funds. If you don't have money, feel free to follow me and reach out to me on WhatsApp. I'd love to help you, right? I'm helping so many people from across the world to generate the funds that they need to be able to make this happen. So please, if you don't have the funds, your first concern, your first obstacle is to generate funds, okay? And I can help you with that. And the fifth one, in the case of Chris, I see that he's quite young, but Canada is not a place where you come here to retire, okay? This is not Florida, this is not the Caribbean, this is a place where, this is a country where we continue to bring amazing people to continue to build this country, okay? So if you are older, I mean, Canada doesn't discriminate based on age, but if you're older, you're going to have a really hard time immigrating to Canada. So a lot of people who reach out to me, they are past 55 years of age. Up to 55, we've been able to help. Past 55, we've never been able to help. So up to 55 years of age, you might still have a chance, slimmer chance, but you might still have a chance. If you're older, cannot guarantee that. So anyway, let's get back onto resume. Richard, what do you think? Is it easy to get a job or a career opportunity, as I call it, in Canada from overseas? Do people reach out to you looking to immigrate to Canada for help on how to craft their resume? Do you have any experience with this? Has anybody ever reached out to you trying to immigrate to Canada with a resume and trying to get interviews? Is it easy? Is it not? What would you advise? Anything that you can share?
All right, I've had experience like that. I had a guy from Kenya who has been working for more than 15 years, and he wanted to migrate to Canada. So the first thing he asked me was if he could get a job in Canada. And what I told him is that based on my experience and from what I've read and been told also, the Canadian government tries to protect their own careers and their own job industry, if I might put it that way, or their labor industry. So they try to protect their own labor industry, and there's a lot of requirements for you to meet before they allow you to get a job. So based on what I've seen on his resume, and based on what the Canadian government is saying for now, I don't know if it will change it tomorrow, it is most likely he cannot get a job from Kenya, as he stated. However, some companies might still employ you and take you to Canada, but that will most likely start from Kenya. So is for that way, the company employing you or the province employing you must have met all their requirements before they take that action. So yeah, I've had that kind of experience. I don't know if this helps.
Yeah, absolutely. You're spot on. So let me say it in different words for everybody to understand the rationale behind this, and then we will answer Pradesh's question as well. So if you want to start thinking about this. So first thing is here. If we think practically or rationally, we're going through a pandemic, but even before the pandemic, the Canadian government has always been very, very responsible for the lives of the people living in Canada, both citizens and residents, okay? For you as a citizen or a resident, pretty much you have the same rights. Residents have a few less rights. For example, residents cannot vote, right? That's one of the differences. But for the most part, we are treated the exact same way, okay? If you're a resident, there's no discrimination. You have ample opportunities to be able to work anywhere you want. It's just amazing, the way that you're treated here, even if you're not a citizen of Canada. But here's the thing. The government wants to make sure that the people who live in Canada, who are eligible to work in Canada, have first dibs. Basically, that you have the first opportunities to work here. So for organizations to be able to sponsor you, to be able to make you a job offer, they will have to demonstrate that there's no one else qualified to be able to do this, or no one else at least interested to do this. So it is a lengthy process for an organization to demonstrate that there's no one else interested in doing this here in Canada, right? So first they have to put up a job description. and the job description has to be open for a certain period of time. Typically, this takes about 3 months, right? So what I'm going to tell you now from a business standpoint is that most organizations, 99.9% of the organizations in the world, they are not like Jeff Bezos and Amazon, where they are thinking 3 quarters down the road, where they are already planning what's going to happen 3 quarters down the road. And whatever is happening today at Amazon was calculated or forecasted 3 quarters ago, okay, 9 months ago, or maybe even 3 years ago, okay? That's how far ahead they plan. Most organizations are not like that. They don't have the resources, they don't have the capabilities, they don't have the mindset to do that. So they are planning the day-to-day. They are reacting, okay? They are reacting to whatever is happening. So when someone decides to leave the organization, they scramble to try to find someone to replace that person as quickly as possible, right? And basically when they have a hole, they try to bring a new person into the organization right away. They don't have 3 months to go through the immigration process to have to demonstrate that this person in Nigeria, Kenya, Ghana, Zambia, Nigeria, the US, anywhere, that person is the right person. They don't have time to wait. They have a hole in the organization and they need that hole covered. Even if they're growing at a faster pace than they were anticipating, when they are growing and they have a gap, they have a need, they want that person to start right away. So why would they bother hiring someone from overseas when they can hire someone down the street who's ready to start tomorrow, right? So you need to start thinking about this more practically. Put yourself in the shoes of someone in a business. The other thing that you need to know is that businesses or organizations, they don't understand what the immigration process is like, how expensive it is, how lengthy it is, what the liabilities are, the responsibilities, what happens when they bring someone into the country, and so on and so forth. So organizations, first of all, they are unaware of what the process looks like. And second, they are really not interested. That's not what they're in business for. They're in business to employ people so that they can deliver value and generate money. They're not in business to bring people from overseas. That is the least of their worries. So if you want to immigrate to Canada, I highly recommend you. I'm going to put it here in the give me 1 second, in the banner. You can go to canadadreamlife.com. You can sign up. There's a free webinar on how to learn how to immigrate to Canada safely. This is a free webinar, okay? So go there, register. You can watch the webinar right away. You can watch a recording, or you can watch it in the future. You select the time that you want to attend, and you just attend this webinar. And basically, you will learn a lot about how to immigrate to Canada safely. And if you want to reach out to me via WhatsApp and tell me that you've watched it, that you want some help, it will be my absolute pleasure to help you as well, okay? So now you know why you're having a really hard time. The one mistake that I don't want you to make is to pay someone for a resume, hoping to make it to Canada, and realize that no one is paying attention to you still. Okay, I don't want you to be disappointed. I want you to only get someone's help to convert your CV into a resume, or convert your resume into an ATS resume, when you really have an opportunity to make the most out of it. Otherwise, you're going to be wasting your money and your time, and I don't want you to do that. Okay, so there's a question here from Pradesh. Is it a myth that our resume should always be 1 page? What are your thoughts, Richard?
All right. From the question, based on how would I put it now? Generally, your resume should be between 2 to 3 pages. And if you are just a recent graduate, it's most likely you don't have a lot of experience, so it might fall on a 1-pager. But the difference between a resume and a CV is usually short. And as Brian as well earlier said, you have 6 to 10 seconds in the eyes of the recruiter. So a 2-page resume is most likely what you will use, because most likely the recruiter won't go into halfway, won't read through halfway of what's on your resume. So you should make it a 2-pager. And that's why with our system, the Resume Majesty system, we've designed it in such a way that the way you're going to write your resume, the recruiter is hooked from the beginning, from the summary. So when he sees what he likes in the first section, which is the summary, he will go down to the end of the page and most likely to the other page. So our Resume Majesty system really works, and we've used it for thousands of people. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you very much, Richard, for adding that. So here's the reason why Pradesh might be thinking about the one page. People who are in business or who have taken, let's say, an MBA, for example, they are advised to have just one page. The one thing that people don't realize is that the job description has a certain number of requirements. And for organizations who are actually using an ATS system, that job description will be compared to your resume. So what matters more is not the length of your resume, but making sure that your experience speaks to the job description. So the process, the proprietary process that we've come up with, or that they've come up with, that I've shared with Richard and many others, it ensures that you actually have a match, basically based on the requirements of the job description and your resume as well, so that you can demonstrate both through data and also through the art of writing that resume that you have the real experience that they are looking for, okay? So you need to think about what is on your resume, your current resume. First of all, think about what's on your current resume and what they are looking for and whether you're missing anything. And if you're missing anything, you need to ask yourself, do you actually have that knowledge? And if you don't have that knowledge, now you know that you have a gap. What are you planning to do with that gap? Are you planning to go on YouTube or take a course on Coursera or LinkedIn Learning? Are you planning to actually fill that gap? Make sure that you understand what you're missing and doing something about that. Doing a project, doing a side project, doing something to be able to acquire that skill that you're missing or that experience, okay? And second, or third, are you actually including something on your resume that should not be on your resume? A lot of people get attached to whatever they've done in the past, and they're just basically taking up a lot of space on their resume, which doesn't really add any value, right? Just because you were amazing at serving coffee everybody in the office, it doesn't mean that it should be on your resume. You can share that during the interview, and you can tell them that you're a team player, that you look after everybody, that you come in early, that you prepare coffee for everybody so that everybody comes in and everybody's welcomed and they're looking forward to being in the office, or whatever it is that you do. But not every single one of the things that you do belong in your resume, okay? So keep that in mind. There are processes to be able to make sure that your resume matches the job description. Now, Richard, here's a question for you. Should you be actually updating your resume for every single job description out there or not?
Sorry, I didn't get the question right.
Should you be updating your resume for every single job description out there or not?
All right. Usually, just to answer the question straight, with our system, you don't need to do that because we have an art and a science method of writing resumes. And what you see all around the internet is you should be upgrading or updating your resume for every job description. But what we've designed is we have the science aspect of writing a resume. And what this includes is we pick out like a 5 to 10 job description that matches the specific role you are in. And we match what is on your resume with that. And we get a resume that you can use to apply for as many job roles as you can find. So that's what we usually do. So we don't follow that directive of always updating your resume for every job description or any job role that you see.
Absolutely. Excellent. So yeah, so a lot of recruiters out there, they will advise you to update your resume for every single job description. But here's the thing. If you think about practically again, I want everybody here to understand and to start thinking practically, okay? Whenever you apply, and I mean, you can check this out yourselves. If you ever go on LinkedIn Jobs, whenever you are applying for a new career opportunity that you see, you can see how many applicants there are. Do you really believe that this employer is going to go through 574 applicants? No. Like, honestly, no, they're not going to go through that many. They're going to go through the first 50 and see if there's anybody who's interesting, right? And then they're going to start to bring in from that pool. Now, they might actually want to interview maybe 10 people. If in the first 50, there are not 10 people who are interesting or suitable for that career opportunity, they will continue going down the list. You want to be in those first 50 slots. You want to be in the first 10 if you can as well, okay? So what happens is that, first of all, here's a piece of advice. Make sure that you're leveraging alerts. If you're not being alerted about the new career opportunities that are coming up, then you're missing out, because you're basically being reactive. You're not being proactive. You're having to go constantly to check for new career opportunities. You should be alerted as soon as there is a career opportunity so that you know that you should be applying to those. On LinkedIn Jobs, you can set alerts if you want. Most platforms now, they have alerts. You want to go to Indeed, you can set alerts as well, okay? Now, once you receive that alert, you might not be in front of the computer. You might be out in the street, you might be at the office, you might be in a cab, you might be wherever it is that you are, okay? Now, you should be able to apply with that resume that you have for that specific role that you've tailored that resume to. You should be able to apply right away without having to wait until you get home and you make a few tweaks for that particular organization, okay? I highly recommend that you don't apply within the first 5 seconds of that new career opportunity going up on the site. Otherwise, the person in human resources or the hiring manager will think, this is odd. The person didn't even take a minute to read the job description, okay? So don't be too eager to apply. Give it a little bit of time. It doesn't mean that you have to be the first one on the list. You can be the 5th one on the list. That's totally fine. Don't apply within 1 minute. Give it 10 minutes, 15, 20, half an hour, okay? But don't allow yourself to be past the 50th position on the list. You want to be within the first 50, okay? You want to make sure that whenever you apply, you are being looked at least. If they reject you, they'll reject you, okay? Now, I can tell you that with 100% match rate, just like Richard has been able to do, I mean, you're not going to be rejected, okay? Because why? Because it's basically the match rate, the ATS match rate is telling you that, and this you can know beforehand, before you even apply. You look at the job description, you look at your resume, and if it's telling you that you have a 100% match, then you're going to be able to pass the ATS, and someone is going to look at your resume and say, wow, this person actually has everything that you are looking for. This person is worth being interviewed. Now, again, as I was mentioning before, there's a very, very slim chance that if you are, let's say, applying from India and you're looking for a career opportunity in Canada, and it says at the top that you are physically located in India, it's very unlikely that you are going to be able to get an interview an invitation to an interview. Why? Again, for the reasons that I explained earlier. I mean, you're not ready to work in Canada. You have not even put a foot in Canada yet. You're not eligible to work here, so the process is going to be lengthy. So it's very unlikely that they are going to make a job offer, and it's very unlikely that they will bring you to an interview. Now, here's the thing for a lot of Indian people and many people from across the world as well. There are a lot of organizations that are trying to convince you that if you have a Canadian phone number, you can actually game the system. You can basically get yourself to an interview. But here's what happens. Those organizations that are trying to sell you a Canadian phone number, they don't care whether you actually have a real opportunity to immigrate to Canada or not. They just care to sell you a Canadian phone number. That's all they're trying to do. So basically what happens is you put your Canadian phone number there, but a lot of people, what I've seen is that they put the Canadian phone number and then they put an address in India. It makes absolutely no sense. What's the point of doing that, right? Now you're confusing the hiring manager, the HR professional, the recruiter. Where are you? Are you in Canada or are you in India, right? First of all. Second, once they realize that you are not eligible to work in Canada, they're going to ignore you and you're going to actually burn your opportunities. Burn your chances of working at that organization. The next time you apply for another career opportunity, they will think, first of all, that you lied in the past, and maybe they will think that you are still in India or still in your home country. So they will not pay attention to you from an organization where you probably had an opportunity to work at. So do things properly in the right order. You will be able to get at least the interviews for the career opportunities or the organizations that you truly have a real opportunity to work at. Do things properly. If you need absolutely any help, if you're confused, feel free to reach out to Richard, reach out to me. We want to help you. Whether we end up working together or not, we want to give you clarity. You at least deserve clarity so that you stop wasting time, okay? Here's from Esra. Love all Nigerian people. Nigerian people are amazing, amazing. I never thought I would be able to make so many Nigerian friends. When I was watching soccer from Argentina during the World Cup, it's like, Nigerians, I'm going to get you the next World Cup. But now I love them. I can't wait to meet them all over here in Canada, God willing. I want to see if there are any other questions. Richard, anything else that you want to add with regards to ATS resume? Is it rocket science to make an ATS resume, or it's just like You just need to know what to do, and then you just apply these different rules and you make it happen. How much of a rocket science is this?
It's not a rocket science. It's just for you to learn the basics, and from the basics, you can use the ATS compliant resume that we have developed. And one other thing again that I noticed is that with the methods that we are using, the arts and the scientific aspect of it, you can move from one job industry or one career to another. It's just for you to know what the recruiting manager is asking for, and for you to write the ATS compliant resume the way we designed it. So our system is a very, very good system, and I believe with this system you're going to have lots and lots of job interviews in the future.
Absolutely. Emmanuel Otachi, my CRS score is on 456. I have created a profile and I have funds, but I'm yet to receive, I guess, the invitation. I'm 33. Please, what other alternatives do I have apart from Express Entry? Feel free to reach out to me. You have my WhatsApp number here scrolling at the bottom. Reach out to me on WhatsApp. 456 is amazing, actually. You are in like the top bucket. You may not cut the draw yet, but we can definitely help you with 456 points, especially if you have the funds to be able to immigrate to Canada. I'd love to help you. So feel free to reach out to me. I look forward to your message, okay? We have to jump onto Clubhouse now in about 11 minutes to be able to answer any questions on Clubhouse as well. We do this on a daily basis. So on Mondays we focus on resumes. On Tuesdays about interviews. On Wednesdays, compensation, how to negotiate a better salary. But salary is just one piece of your compensation. So we talk about every different aspect, whether you're employed or unemployed, whether you're looking to go to a performance review and get a salary increase, or whether you're looking to get a new position within the organization, or whether you're looking to get a new career opportunity elsewhere, or whether you're unemployed and you're trying to get back on your feet, how to negotiate that compensation that you deserve for the knowledge, skills, experience, and expertise that you have acquired throughout your career. Okay, so, and then on Thursdays, we focus on immigration to Canada, and then on Fridays, how to monetize your skills, how to generate side income. LinkedIn, I've been very open about this. LinkedIn has changed my life. I've been able to generate so much side income that I've been able to quit my career in technology. I started when I was 13 years old, and LinkedIn truly changed my life. So if you're interested in learning how to generate side income so that you can achieve your dreams, so that you can leave your career, so that you can have more comfort for yourself, for your family, absolutely just reach out to me on WhatsApp as well. More than happy to help you. Let me see if there's anybody else here. Thank you, Ezra, for supporting us. I appreciate it. Let me see if there's anybody else here who has any questions. Please feel free, by the way, to share where it is that you're watching from, which country, and what career opportunities you're looking for. Specifically, the more that you write, the better it is, because when someone is looking or watching this live, whether it is live or it is a replay, if they see that you are looking for something that they can offer you, then there is a chance that they will be reaching out to you. So the more that you describe in the comments, the better it will be for you. Monique, how's it going from South Africa? Yeah, Richard has been amazing. Richard, if you think of anything else that might empower people, please feel free to interject, to just interrupt me. I'm just trying to find whether there are any other questions. There are so many comments here, so I appreciate them. Let me see if there's anybody else here. Appreciate it, Jeff. Thank you so much. Thank you, Samir, for supporting Richard. Let me see if I can find any other questions. 1 second, please. Anything that can help anybody else? Just a second. Anything else that you can think of that might make the life of the career, the job seekers easier, Richard? Anything else that comes to mind?
Yeah, I have a lot to say again. That I just want to implore everyone that is listening that you have a greater chance of getting employment in this 2021. And for most countries, the beginning of the year is a great time to start sending out job adverts for people to apply. So with our system, I've also found out that some people remain in one job, the job that they don't like, the job that makes them dread Mondays. They stay there, and from Fridays they start having fun. So you don't need to do that. With a good ATS compliant resume, you can apply to any organization of your choice. I had a client from India the other time that said he's been applying to Google, and he's not getting any response from them. And he now sent the resume, or his CV, if I might use that word. And from his CV, it had a lot of ATS dons on it. So he was committing sacrilege, if I might use that word, based on the ATS. So I told him how to use our system, though I didn't hear from him again. But that is the most likely problem you're facing while you're not getting call-ups or interviews. For these top 5 companies, like the tech companies and some huge conglomerates, if you don't have a resume that beats their ATS system, they will not call you for an interview. So with our system, we can assist you to write teach you to write the resume that will make you get call-ups for interviews. So I wish you all the best. I hope you get in touch. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for adding that. Great question here from Sally. Sally, what if between 15 minutes there are over 50 applicants? Sally, one of the things that you can do is all these happens in real time. You can just refresh, okay? If you see that, I mean, first of all, it's not going to be 50 applicants in 15 minutes, okay? But if you want to refresh, I mean, every minute, I mean, you don't need to be the first one on the list. If you want to be the first one on the list, amazing. They are going to, for sure, pay attention to you. Absolutely. You don't have to be the first one. Just give it enough time, give it a few minutes, and then slide into that list as well so that they pay attention to you as well, okay? So basically the gist of this, the concept is you need to be within the first 50 applicants of that list. You don't want to be the 500. Give it enough time, give it a few minutes so that they don't think that you're just applying blindly. Organizations in 2021, they want to make sure that you understand, first of all, the requirements, and second, that you understand the culture of that organization, that you've been able to research a bit about them. So give it enough time. Don't just apply blindly within the first minute, okay? So you're just you're gaming the system a little bit. You're just basically showing them that you understand who they are, even if you don't. I highly recommend that you check them out, but the truth of the matter is that this is very frustrating. This application process is so frustrating because a lot of people are continuously updating their resume and applying with a newly updated resume, and it's frustrating because it takes time, because they are ghosted, they are rejected. So don't allow anybody to do that. Figure out how to have a resume that is, first of all, ATS compliant. If it is not ATS compliant, chances are that you're going to be filtered out. And second, that your match rate, your ATS match rate, is high for every single job description out there, okay? So Richard can help you with this. He can show you the techniques on how to do this, and he's amazing. Honestly, I've never seen, I think that I've seen very few times, someone who has a 100% match rate. So he's been able to do it. As long as your match rate is above 90%, you're good. And as long as you apply within those first 50 people. If you wait too long, I mean, you snooze, you lose, right? That's the common phrase that we hear all the time, okay? So let me see. Samia, what is Samia saying? Sally, don't worry if you have an ATS compliant resume. It will bypass hundreds of applications and filter through the software. Yes, but wait. So make sure that you are top of the list. Again, if there are 500 people, then there is a chance that there are another 50 people who got in there before you, and that yours is not looked at. So all I'm going to suggest is LinkedIn Jobs is amazing because it is very transparent. They tell you how many applicants there are. And second, you can actually create the alerts. And third, it has this option which is called Easy Apply. And why I love Easy Apply? Because Easy Apply is basically you can just take the low-hanging fruit, basically the easy ones, you can just apply. You don't even have to read, okay? You just can apply. You can even filter, you can sort by how recently they've been opened, okay? So you can apply to the ones that have been opened recently first, and then you can apply to the ones that have been opened in the past. I highly recommend that everybody goes to LinkedIn and then go to LinkedIn Jobs and try to understand how to make the most out of the LinkedIn Jobs feature, because it has the alerts, it tells you how many applicants there are, and you can filter and you can sort by anything that you're looking for. You can filter by geographic location, you can filter by how recently it's been opened. You can filter by seniority. You can filter by so many different criteria. So please learn how to use LinkedIn Jobs. If you don't know how to use it, then reach out to Richard, reach out to me. We'll be more than happy to help you. And the other thing that I will highly advise you, and Richard, tell me if you agree or disagree with this, is your LinkedIn URL. Okay, lots of people, first of all, you have a LinkedIn URL that looks very messy. It's your first name, your last name, a whole bunch of weird characters. You need to learn how to clean that up, first of all, so that you look up to par. And second, when to actually include your LinkedIn URL on your resume. Should you include it? Should you not? When should you include it? When should you not? So if you reach out to Richard, he can explain to you when. Not every single applicant should include their LinkedIn URL on their resume. Okay, so we only have 2 more minutes, so I don't want to dive into this and just leave it halfway through. So please reach out to Richard or reach out to me, and we'll be more than happy to help you with this. We truly believe that everybody deserves to be back on their feet, whether they can afford our services or not, and we can help you. We have so much information that we can share with you. So Richard, I want to thank you immensely. I know that Richard is going to go through all these questions. He will take the time to go through all of them and answer them. Please, if you have any other questions and if you haven't shown them, reach out to us or ask here, and Richard will get back to you. He's he's a gem of a human being. Richard, any final thoughts before we wrap this up?
Yeah, I just want everybody to believe and be positive that all things are possible. So you just need the knowledge. You don't need to kneel. It's not prayers only. You need knowledge, you need hard work, and you need the right mentors and people to direct you. Thank you.
Thank you immensely. Richard, I believe in you. I wholeheartedly believe in you personally and professionally. So thank you immensely for joining me. Thank you everyone for watching, and I will be back tomorrow. And just don't hesitate to reach out. Don't be one of those people who tells me, I've been watching you for a year, following you for a year, and I didn't have the courage. Reach out. What you see is what you get, right? I love to help people. Richard does as well. And looking forward to hearing from you. Take care. See you tomorrow.